The Lockheed F-104 Starfighter is a single-engine, supersonic interceptor aircraft which later became widely used as an attack aircraft. It was originally developed by Lockheed for the United States Air Force, U.S. Air Force, but was later produced by several other nations, seeing widespread service outside the United States. One of the Century series of fighter aircraft, it was operated by the air forces of more than a dozen nations from 1958 to 2004. Its design team was led by Kelly Johnson, who contributed to the development of the Lockheed P-38 Lightning, Lockheed U-2, Lockheed State Route 71 Blackbird and other Lockheed aircraft. The F-104 set numerous world records, including both airspeed and altitude records. Its success was marred by the Lockheed bribery scandals, in which Lockheed had given bribes to a considerable number of political and military figures in various nations to influence their judgment and secure several purchase contracts. This caused considerable political controversy in Europe and Japan. The poor safety record of the Starfighter also brought the aircraft into the public eye, especially in German Air Force service. Fighter ace Erich Hartmann was forced to retire from the Luftwaffe due to his outspoken opposition to selection of the F-104. The final production version of the fighter model was the F-104S, an all-weather interceptor designed by Air Italia for the Italian Air Force, and equipped with radar-guided AIM-7 Sparrow missiles. An advanced F-104 with a high-mounted wing, known as the CL-1200 Lancer, was considered, but did not proceed past the mock-up stage. Development. Background and early development. Clarence Kelly Johnson, the chief engineer at Lockheed's Skunk Works, visited Korea in December 1951 and spoke with fighter pilots about what sort of aircraft they wanted. At the time, the U.S. pilots were confronting the MiG-15 with North American F-86 Sabres, and many felt that the MiGs were superior to the larger and more complex American design. The pilots requested a small and simple aircraft with excellent performance. Armed with this information, Johnson immediately started the design of such an aircraft on his return to the United States. In March, his team was assembled. They studied several aircraft designs, ranging from small designs at 8,000 pounds, 3,600 kilograms, to fairly large ones at 50,000 pounds, 23,000 kilograms. To achieve the desired performance, Lockheed chose a minimalist approach, a design that would achieve high performance by wrapping the lightest, most aerodynamically efficient airframe possible around a single powerful engine. The engine chosen was the new General Electric J79 turbojet, an engine of dramatically improved performance in comparison with contemporary designs. The small L-246 design powered by a single J79 remained essentially identical to the L-083 Starfighter as eventually delivered. The design was presented to the Air Force in November 1952, and they were interested enough to create a general operating requirement for a lightweight fighter to replace the North American F-100. 3 additional companies replied to the requirement: Republic Aviation with the AP-55, an improved version of its prototype XF-91 Thunderceptor, North American Aviation with the NA-212, which eventually evolved into the F-107, and Northrop Corporation with the N-102 Fang, another J-79-powered design. Although all were interesting, Lockheed had what proved to be an insurmountable lead, and was granted a development contract in March 1953 for 2 prototypes. These were given the designation XF-104. Work progressed quickly, with the mock-up ready for inspection at the end of April, and work starting on 2 prototypes late in May. Meanwhile, the J79 engine was not ready. Both prototypes were instead designed to use the Wright J65 engine, a licensed-built version of the Armstrong Siddeley Sapphire. The first prototype was completed by early 1954 and first flew on March 4 at Edwards AFB. The total time from contract to first flight was less than a year. When the U.S. Air Force revealed the existence of the XF-104, they only gave a vague description of it, similar to the secret F-117A Nighthawk in the 1980s. A drawing in the August 1954 edition of Popular Mechanics was very close to the actual design. The prototype had hopped into the air on February 18, but that was not counted as a first flight. On the first official flight, it experienced landing gear retraction problems. The second prototype was destroyed a few weeks later during gun-firing trials, but in November 1955, the XF-104 was accepted by the U.S. Air Force. Further development. Based on the XF-104 testing and evaluations, the next variant, the YF-104A, was lengthened and fitted with a General Electric J79 engine, modified landing gear, and modified air intakes. The first YF-104A flew on February 17, 1956, and with the other 16 trial aircraft, were soon carrying out aircraft and equipment evaluation and tests. Modifications were made to the aircraft including airframe strengthening and adding a ventral fin. Problems were encountered with the J79 afterburner. Further delays were caused by the need to add AIM-9 Sidewinder air-to-air missiles. On January 28, 1958, the first F-104A to enter service was delivered to the 83rd Fighter Interceptor Wing. A total of 2,578 F-104s was produced by Lockheed and under license by various foreign manufacturers. Design. Airframe. The F-104 featured a radical wing design. Most jet fighters of the period used a swept wing or delta wing design, which provided a reasonable balance between aerodynamic performance, lift, and internal space for fuel and equipment. The Lockheed tests, however, determined that the most efficient shape for high-speed supersonic flight was a very small, straight, mid-mounted, trapezoidal wing. The new wing design was extremely thin, with a thickness-to-chord ratio of only 3.36% and an aspect ratio of 2.45. The wing's leading edges were so thin, 0.016 in, 0.41 mm, that they presented a cut hazard to ground crews. Protective guards had to be installed on the edges during ground operations maintenance. The thinness of the wings required fuel tanks and landing gear to be placed in the fuselage, and the hydraulic cylinders driving the ailerons were limited to 1 inch, 25 mm, thickness to fit. The small, highly loaded wing resulted in an unacceptably high landing speed, even with both leading and trailing edge flaps installed. As a result, the aircraft designers developed a boundary layer control system, BLCS, of blown flap bleed air over the trailing edge flaps to help lower landing speeds, making landings safer. The system proved to be a maintenance problem in service, however, and landing without the BLCS engaged could be a harrowing experience. The stabilator, horizontal tail surface, was mounted atop the fin to reduce inertia coupling. Because the vertical fin was only slightly shorter than the length of each wing and nearly as aerodynamically effective, it could act as a wing on rudder application, rolling the aircraft in the opposite direction of rudder input. To offset this effect, the wings were canted downward, giving 10 degrees anhedral. The fuselage had a high fineness ratio, i.e. slender, tapered towards the sharp nose, and a small frontal area. The tightly packed fuselage contained the radar, cockpit, cannon, fuel, landing gear, and engine. The fuselage and wing combination provided low drag except at high angle of attack, alpha, at which point induced drag became very high. The F-104 had good acceleration, rate of climb, and potential top speed, but its sustained turn performance was poor. Engine. The F-104 was designed to use the General Electric J79 turbojet engine, fed by side-mounted intakes with fixed inlet cones optimized for supersonic speeds. Unlike some supersonic aircraft, the F-104 did not have variable geometry inlets. Its thrust-to-drag ratio was excellent, allowing a maximum speed well in excess of Mach 2. Ejection seat. Early starfighters used a downward-firing ejection seat, the Stanley C-1, out of concern over the ability of an upward-firing seat to clear the T-tail empennage. This presented obvious problems in low-altitude escapes, and 21 U.S. Air Force pilots, including test pilot Captain Ivan Carl Kincheloe Jr., failed to escape from their stricken aircraft in low-level emergencies because of it. The downward-firing seat was replaced by the Lockheed C-2 upward-firing seat, which was capable of clearing the tail, but still had a minimum speed limitation of 104 miles per hour, 167 kilometers per hour. Many export starfighters were later retrofitted with Martin Baker Mk.700, 0 altitude and 0 airspeed, ejection seats. Avionics. The initial U.S. Air Force starfighters had a basic AN/ASG-14T ranging radar, Tactical Air Navigation System, TACAN, and an AN/ARC-34 UHF radio. In the late 1960s, Lockheed developed a more advanced version of the starfighter, the F-104S, for use by the Italian Air Force as an all-weather interceptor. The F-104S received a NASR R-21G with a moving target indication and a continuous wave radar illuminator for semi-active radar homing missiles, including the AIM-7 Sparrow and Selenia Aspide. The missile guidance avionics forced the deletion of the starfighter's internal cannon. In the mid-1980s, surviving F-104S aircraft were updated to ASA standard, Aggiornamento Sistemi di Arma, or Weapon Systems Update, with a much improved, more compact FIR-21G/M1 radar. Armament. The basic armament of the F-104 was the 20 mm, 0.79 in, M61 Vulcan autocannon. As the first aircraft to carry the weapon, testing of the starfighter revealed issues with the initial version of the M61. The Gatling mechanism cannon suffered problems with its linked ammunition, being prone to misfeed and presenting a foreign object damage (FOD) hazard with discarded links. A linkless ammunition feed system was developed for the upgraded M61A1 installed in the F-104C. The M61A1 has subsequently been used by a wide variety of American combat aircraft. The cannon, mounted in the lower part of the port fuselage, was fed by a 725-round drum behind the pilot's seat. With its firing rate of 6,000 rounds per minute, the cannon would empty the drum after just over 7 seconds of continuous fire. The cannon was omitted in all the two-seat models and some single-seat versions, including reconnaissance aircraft and the early Italian F-104S, with the gun bay and ammunition tank typically replaced by additional fuel tanks. The gun's location was advantageous as gun flash was not in the pilot's line of sight, therefore not robbing him of night-adjusted vision. 2 AIM-9 Sidewinder air-to-air missiles could be carried on the wingtip stations, which could also be used for fuel tanks. The F-104C and later models added a center-line pylon and 2 underwing pylons for bombs, rocket pods, or fuel tanks. The center-line pylon could carry a nuclear weapon. A catamaran launcher for 2 additional Sidewinders could be fitted under the forward fuselage, although the installation had minimal ground clearance and rendered the seeker heads of the missiles vulnerable to ground debris. The F-104S models added a pair of fuselage pylons beneath the intakes available for conventional bomb carriage and an additional pylon under each wing, for a total of 9. Operational history. U.S. Air Force. The F-104A initially served briefly with the U.S. Air Force Air Defense Command, ADC, as an interceptor, although neither its range nor armament were well suited for that role. The first unit to become operational with the F-104A was the 83rd Fighter Interceptor Squadron on February 20, 1958, at Hamilton AFB, California. After just 3 months of service, the unit was grounded after a series of engine-related accidents. The aircraft were then fitted with the J793B engine and another 3 ADC units equipped with the F-104A. The U.S. Air Force reduced their orders from 722 starfighters to 155. After only 1 year of service, these aircraft were handed over to ADC-gained units of the Air National Guard. The F-104 was intended as an interim solution while the ADC waited for delivery of the Convair F-106 Delta Dart. During the Berlin crisis of 1961, President John F. Kennedy ordered 148,000 United States National Guard and Reserve personnel to active duty on August 30, 1961, in response to Soviet moves to cut off Allied access to Berlin. 21,067 individuals were from the Air National Guard, ANG, forming 18 fighter squadrons, 4 reconnaissance squadrons, 6 transport squadrons, and a tactical control group. On November 1, 1961, the U.S. Air Force mobilized 3 more ANG fighter interceptor squadrons. In late October and early November, 8 of the tactical fighter units flew to Europe with their 216 aircraft in Operation Stair-Step. Because of their short range, 60 F-104s were airlifted to Europe in late November, among them the 151st FIS and 157th FIS. The crisis ended in the summer of 1962, and the personnel returned to the United States. The subsequent F-104C entered service with U.S. Air Force Tactical Air Command, TAC, as a multi-role fighter and fighter bomber. The 479th Tactical Fighter Wing at George AFB, California, was the first unit to equip with the type in September 1958. Although not an optimum platform for the theater, the F-104 did see limited service in the Vietnam War. In 1967, these TAC aircraft were transferred to the Air National Guard. Vietnam War. Starfighter squadrons made 2 deployments to Vietnam. Commencing with Operation Rolling Thunder, the Starfighter was used both in the air superiority role and in the air support mission, and although it saw little aerial combat and scored no air-to-air kills, F-104s were successful in deterring MiG interceptors. During the first F-104 deployment from April to October 1965, starfighters flew a total of 2,937 combat sorties. These sorties resulted in the loss of 5 aircraft. The 476th Tactical Fighter Squadron deployed from April to July 1965, losing 1 starfighter, and the 436th Tactical Fighter Squadron deployed from July through October 1965, losing 4. 2 starfighters were shot down by ground fire, one was shot down by a Shenyang J-6 when Captain Philip E. Smith strayed into Chinese airspace, and 2 were lost to a mid-air collision while searching for Smith's missing jet. Starfighters returned to Vietnam when the 435th Tactical Fighter Squadron deployed from June 1966 until July 1967. During this time F-104s flew a further 2,269 combat sorties, for a total of 5,206. F-104s operating in Vietnam were upgraded in service with APR-25/26 radar warning receiver equipment, with one example on display in the Air Zoo in Kalamazoo, Michigan. During the second deployment, an additional 9 aircraft were lost for a total of 14 F-104s lost to all causes in Vietnam. In July 1967, the Starfighter units transitioned to the McDonnell Douglas F-4 Phantom II. Stateside service. The U.S. Air Force was less than satisfied with the Starfighter, and procured only 296 examples in single-seat and two-seat versions. At the time, U.S. Air Force doctrine placed little importance on air superiority, fighter-to-fighter, and the Starfighter was deemed inadequate for either the interceptor, fighter-to-bomber, or tactical fighter-bomber role, lacking both payload capability and endurance in comparison with other U.S. Air Force aircraft. The F-104's U.S. service was quickly wound down after 1965. The last U.S. Air Force starfighters left regular Air Force service in 1969. The aircraft continued in use with the Puerto Rico Air National Guard until 1975 when it was replaced in that organization by the A-7 Corsair II. The last use of the F-104 Starfighter in U.S. markings was training pilots for the West German Air Force, with a wing of TF-104GS and F-104GS based at Luke Air Force Base, Arizona. Although operated in U.S. Air Force markings, these aircraft, which included German-built aircraft, were owned by West Germany. They continued in use until 1983. India-Pakistan Wars. At dawn on September 6, 1965, Flight Lieutenant Aftab Alam Khan of Pakistan claimed an Indian Dassault Mystere 4 over West Pakistan and damaged another, marking the start of aerial combat in the Indo-Pakistani War of 1965. It is claimed as the first combat kill by any Mach 2 aircraft, and the first missile kill for the Pakistan Air Force, PAF. Indian sources dispute this claim. The Starfighter was also instrumental in intercepting an Indian Folland Gnat on September 3, 1965. F-104s were vectored to intercept the Gnat flying over Pakistan, which was returning to its home base. The F-104s, closing in at supersonic speed, caused the NAT pilot, squadron leader Birpal Singh, to land at a nearby disused Pakistani airfield and surrender. The Indian Air Force, IAF, disputed PAF's claim of forced landing and stated that the landing was an error of the pilot, who made an emergency landing thinking it to be an Indian airstrip. The IAF NAT is now displayed at the PAF Museum, Karachi. The first direct air-to-air combat engagements between the F-104 and the MiG-21 took place during the Indo-Pakistani War of 1971. MiGs flown by the IAF shot down 4 PAF starfighters without sustaining any losses. The first loss occurred on December 12, 1971, when MiG-21 FLS of the IAF's No. 47 Squadron shot down a PAF F-104 flown by Wing Commander Mervyn Middlecote over the Gulf of Kutch. The next 3 PAF F-104s were all shot down 5 days later on December 17, 2 by IAF MiG-21 FLS of No. 29 Squadron over Uttarlai, Rajasthan, and the third by another MiG-21 FL of the same squadron later the same day. Post-war sanctions forced an early retirement of F-104s from the PAF due to lack of maintenance support. 1967 Taiwan Strait conflict. On January 13, 1967, for Republic of China, Taiwan, Air Force F-104G aircraft engaged a formation of 8 MiG-19s of the People's Liberation Army Air Force over the disputed island of Kinmen. Major Hu Shilin and Captain Shi Baipyo each shot down 1 MiG-19. This marked the first uncontested F-104 combat victory in the world. One F-104 did not return to base and its pilot was listed as missing in action. Other international service. At the same time that the F-104 was falling out of U.S. favor, the German Air Force was looking for a multi-role combat aircraft to operate in support of a missile defense system. In response, Lockheed reworked the Starfighter from a fair-weather fighter into an all-weather ground attack, reconnaissance, and interceptor aircraft, and presented it as the F-104G. The redesigned aircraft was chosen over the English Electric Lightning, Grumman F-11F Super Tiger, and Northrop N-156. The Starfighter found a new market with other NATO countries as well, and eventually a total of 2,578 of all variants of the F-104 were built in the U.S. and abroad for various nations. Several countries received their aircraft under the U.S. government-funded Military Aid Program, MAP. The American engine was retained but built under license in Europe, Canada, and Japan. The Lockheed ejector seats were retained initially but were replaced later in some countries by the safer Martin-Baker seat. The so-called deal of the century produced substantial income for Lockheed, but the resulting bribery scandals caused considerable political controversy in Europe and Japan. In Germany, Minister of Defense Franz Josef Strauss was accused of having received at least $10 million for West Germany's purchase of the F-104 Starfighter in 1961. Prince Consort Bernhard of the Netherlands was forced to resign as Inspector General of the Dutch Armed Forces after being accused of having received more than $1 million in bribes. The international service of the F-104 began to wind down in the late 1970s, being replaced in many cases by the General Dynamics F-16 Fighting Falcon, but it remained in service with some air forces for another 2 decades. The last operational Starfighters served with the Italian Air Force, which retired them on October 31, 2004. Use as space launch platform. In 2011, 4 Frontiers Corporation and Starfighters Inc., a private F-104 operator, began working together on a project to launch suborbital sounding rockets from F-104s flying out of Kennedy Space Center. First launches were expected to occur in 2012. As of July 16, 2017, both the 4 Frontiers Corporation and Starlab suborbital websites were unresponsive, and there appeared to be no mention of 4 Frontiers or the joint project on the Starfighters Inc. website. In early 2016, another venture, CubeCab, was working on a rocket system that would launch CubeSats from F-104s. The company said it planned to begin providing launch services around 2018. Flying characteristics. The Starfighter was the first combat aircraft capable of sustained Mach 2 flight, and its speed and climb performance remain impressive even by modern standards. Equipped with razor-edge thin-blade supersonic wings, visible from the cockpit only in the mirrors, it was designed for optimum performance at Mach 1.4. If used appropriately, with high-speed surprise attacks and good use of its exceptional thrust-to-weight ratio, it could be a formidable opponent. It was exceptionally stable at high speed, i.e., 600 plus knots, 1,100 plus km/h, 690 plus mph, at very low level, making it a potent tactical nuclear strike fighter. However, when lured into a low-speed turning contest with conventional subsonic opponents, as Pakistani pilots were with Indian hunters in 1965, the outcome of dogfights was always in doubt. The F-104's large turn radius was due to the high speeds required for maneuvering, and its high alpha stalling and pitch-up behavior was known to command respect. In reference to the F-104's low-speed turn performance, a humorous colloquialism was coined by a Canadian pilot and referred to by F-104 pilots the world over: banking with intent to turn. Takeoff speeds were in the region of 219 miles per hour, 352 kilometers per hour, with the pilot needing to swiftly raise the landing gear to avoid exceeding the limit speed of 299 miles per hour, 481 kilometers per hour. Climb and cruise performance were outstanding. Occasionally a slow light would illuminate on the instrument panel at around Mach 2 to indicate that the engine compressor was nearing its limiting temperature and the pilot needed to throttle back. Returning to the circuit, the downwind leg could be flown at 242 miles per hour, 389 kilometers per hour, with land flap selected, while long flat final approaches were typically flown at speeds around 207 miles per hour, 333 kilometers per hour, depending on the weight of fuel remaining. High engine power had to be maintained on the final approach to ensure adequate airflow for the boundary layer control system. Consequently, pilots were warned not to cut the throttle until the aircraft was actually on the ground. A drag chute and effective brakes shortened the Starfighter's landing roll. General characteristics: the F-104 series all had a very high wing loading, made even higher when carrying external stores. The high angle of attack area of flight was protected by a stick shaker system to warn the pilot of an approaching stall, and if this was ignored, a stick pusher system would pitch the aircraft's nose down to a safer angle of attack. This was often overridden by the pilot despite flight manual warnings against this practice. At extremely high angles of attack, the F-104 was known to pitch up and enter a spin, from which in most cases it was impossible to recover. Unlike the twin-engined McDonnell Douglas F-4 Phantom II, for example, the F-104 with its single engine lacked the safety margin in the case of an engine failure, and had a poor glide ratio without thrust. Early problems: the J79 was a brand new engine, with development continuing throughout the YF-104A test phase and during service with the F-104A. The engine featured variable incidence compressor stator blades, a design feature that altered the angle of the stator blades automatically with altitude and temperature. A condition known as T2 reset, a normal function that made large stator blade angle changes, caused several engine failures on takeoff. It was discovered that large and sudden temperature changes, e.g., from being parked in the sun prior to becoming airborne, were falsely causing the engine stator blades to close and choke the compressor. The dangers presented by these engine failures were compounded by the downward ejection seat, which gave the pilot little chance of a safe exit at low level. The engine systems were subsequently modified and the ejection seat changed to the more conventional upward type. Uncontrolled tip tank oscillations sheared one wing off of an F-104B. This problem was apparent during testing of the XF-104 prototype and was eventually resolved by filling the tank compartments in a specific order. Later problems: a further engine problem was that of uncommanded opening of the variable thrust nozzle, usually through loss of engine oil pressure, as the nozzles were actuated using engine oil as hydraulic fluid. Although the engine would be running normally at high power, the opening of the nozzle resulted in a drastic loss of thrust. A modification program installed a manual nozzle closure control which reduced the problem. The engine was also known to suffer from afterburner blowout on takeoff, or even non-ignition, resulting in a major loss of thrust that could be detected by the pilot. The recommended action was to abandon the takeoff. The first fatal accident in German service was caused by this phenomenon. Some aircrews experienced uncommanded stick kicker activation at low level when flying straight and level, so F-104 crews often flew with the system deactivated. Asymmetric flap deployment was another common cause of accidents, as was a persistent problem with severe nose wheel shimmy on landing that usually resulted in the aircraft leaving the runway and in some cases even flipping over onto its back. German service. The introduction of a highly technical aircraft type to a newly reformed air force was fraught with problems. Many pilots and ground crew had settled into civilian jobs after World War II and had not kept pace with developments, with pilots being sent on short refresher courses in slow and benign handling first-generation jet aircraft. Ground crew were similarly employed with minimal training and experience, which was one consequence of a conscripted military with high turnover of service personnel. Operating in poor Northwest European weather conditions, vastly unlike the fair weather training conditions at Luke AFB in Arizona, and flying low at high speed over hilly terrain, a great many accidents were attributed to controlled flight into terrain, CFIT. German Air Force and Navy losses totaled 110 pilots, around half of them naval officers. One contributing factor to this was the operational assignment of the F-104 in German service. It was mainly used as a fighter-bomber, as opposed to the original design of a high-speed, high-altitude fighter/interceptor. In addition to the much lower-level mission profiles, the installation of additional avionic equipment in the F-104G version, such as the inertial navigation system, added far more distraction to the pilot and additional weight that further hampered the flying abilities of the plane. In contemporary German magazine articles highlighting the Starfighter safety problems, the aircraft was portrayed as overburdened with technology, which was considered a latent overstrain on the aircrews. In 1966 Johannes Steinhoff took over command of the Luftwaffe and grounded the entire Luftwaffe and Bundesmarine F-104 fleet until he was satisfied that problems had been resolved or at least reduced. In later years, the German safety record improved, although a new problem of structural failure of the wings emerged. Original fatigue calculations had not taken into account the high number of G-force loading cycles that the German F-104 fleet was experiencing, and many airframes were returned to the depot for wing replacement or outright retirement. Towards the end of Luftwaffe service, some aircraft were modified to carry a flight data recorder or black box which could give an indication of the probable cause of an accident. Erich Hartmann, the world's top-scoring fighter ace, commanded one of Germany's first, post-war, jet fighter-equipped squadrons and deemed the F-104 to be an unsafe aircraft with poor handling characteristics for aerial combat. In Navy service it lacked the safety margin of a twin-engine design like the Blackburn Buccaneer. To the dismay of his superiors, Hartmann judged the fighter unfit for Luftwaffe use even before its introduction. Normal operating hazards. The causes of a large number of aircraft losses were the same as for any other similar type. They included bird strikes, particularly to the engine, lightning strikes, pilot spatial disorientation, and mid-air collisions with other aircraft. A particularly notable accident occurred on June 19, 1962 when a formation of 4 F-104F aircraft, practicing for the type's introduction into service ceremony, crashed together after descending through a cloud bank. 3 Germans and 1 American pilot were killed, and the 4 aircraft destroyed. This accident was explained as probable spatial disorientation of one of the trainee, wingman, and Formation A aerobatic teams were consequently banned by the Luftwaffe from that day on. Safety record. The safety record of the F-104 Starfighter became high-profile news in the mid-1960s, especially in Germany. The Federal German Republic initially ordered 700, instead of the French Mirage, and later another 216, a total of 916 aircraft. Deliveries started in January 1962 and before the end of the month, the first of no fewer than 262 German F-104s had crashed. In June 1962 4 F-104s crashed on the same day. 116 German P.
Please subscribe and thanks for watching.